What's up, everybody? It's Dimiter here, and today we're in a little bit of a different environment. We're in my studio, and I decided that it's time for another tutorial. And it's not really a tutorial; it's more like vlog style video. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about how to choose your first or your next double bass pedal. We all love double bass, especially us metal drummers. There's nothing quite like it. Being able to play double bass, it's aggressive, it's adding texture, it's adding complexity, speed, everything. Double bass is wonderful. How do you choose your first pedal or your next pedal? I've talked with a lot of guys and a lot of, my fellow drummers, and what I've noticed is that oftentimes they either don't know anything about pedals and they just buy anything, like the cheapest version of something, cheapest brand, or just because something's on sale. They don't really know what they need and they don't really know what they want. So today I'm going to give you the basics of double bass pedals, and right now I have my old pedal with me. So far I've went through, I think it's 3 pedals. My current pedal is Tama Speed Cobra, but it's the 310 version. It's not the high-end version because, it's expensive. But and it's a great pedal. It's awesome. All my videos that you've seen are done with this pedal. The long board is awesome. I don't have the spring underneath the board, but it doesn't matter. It's wonderful. So today I've got my old one, my Mapex, and it's pretty old actually. It's probably about 6 years old, and I don't really remember the correct model. I think it was C300 something. I don't know. I'll check it out later. But basically, I'm going to show you stuff on this pedal. It's a wonderful pedal. It's currently my training pedal because when I'm using, bass drum pads or something, I just don't want to mount and unmount the speed cover all the time. So I'm using this one. It's still working, but it's pretty beat up. It's old. It's clanking. So let's start with the pedal basics. First off, the pedal is consistent of it's a double bass pedal, and in 99.9% of the time, it's going to be consistent of 2 pedals, which are connected with a rod. It has different names in different countries. We're gonna call it the rod. So your master pedal, it will look like this. So usually it will have both of the beaters, both of the springs. Some more expensive models have the springs on each pedal, which is actually better, but this is a topic for another time. And basically everything is happening here. All the mechanics almost are entirely here. So pedals are a long-term investment. They're not something that you buy every month or even every year. So I know it's easy to say and hard to accomplish, but when you buy something good. It doesn't have to be the most professional, the most expensive out there. Oftentimes, you're going to buy something cheap, it'll break or it will not work the way you want it to, and you'll end up just buying the good one. So, this is a pretty good entry level up to a mid range pedal for me. This Mapex costed back in the days around $200 or something like this, or maybe 250. I don't know. So it's a great one because it's built well. I've been punishing it for the last 6 years. It's still holding up. It's still working properly. It's maybe you can see it's clanking a little bit, but it's expected because there are a lot of moving parts in these pedals. So what you need to look for in your pedal is first you need a full plate, because some cheaper versions are going to have like these rods, like in your hi-hat machine, and it's just not stable. You need a solid, especially for double bass, especially if you're a heavy hitter like I am, and you're a little heavier in terms of weight. You're going to put a lot of pressure on these, and you need some solid plate which will grip to the ground, and it just won't move, because otherwise you're going to find yourself just readjusting, remounting, and frustrating over your pedal position. So first off, you need to have a solid plate, full plate. And the second thing is, regardless if it's a long board, a regular board, whatever board, it doesn't matter. This is personal preference. 4 types of drives. What is a drive? Well, the drive is this part over here. This is the connection between the board and your beater. So the drive, in this case it's a double chain drive, is a pretty significant and pretty important part, because this will dictate the durability and the performance of your pedal. So the 4 types are single chain, which is just like this but with only one chain. Double chain, like this one. I don't know if you can actually see it. It's a double chain drive. The other one is the strap. I think it's some, I don't know, polyester something. It's different. Some are textile, some are polyester, whatever. So the strap, and the probably most popular among the metal drummers is the direct drive. Direct drive is just a piece of metal right here instead of a moving either a strap or chain. So it's just a piece of metal which translates a much bigger percentage of the movement of the plates, transfers them to your beater. So all of these drives have a different feel to them, and I encourage you to try them all, because it's not a one size fits all, and different drummers have different preferences. Me, for instance, I hate direct drive. I'm used to playing with double chain. I'm used to the motion. I'm used to the force that I need to exert, and direct drive is just too easy for me. I'm used to battling with the chain, because it does require more effort with the chain, and just yeah, that's my preference. So all of my pedals that I've used, that I've bought, have been in fact double chain pedals. So yeah, I just double checked because yeah, I'm old. So you need to choose your drive. I would suggest to stay away from, well, let's clarify a little bit. I'm a metal drummer. I've always been. I'm a hard hitter, and my advice mostly will be towards metal drummers, because this is my experience. This is the knowledge that I have. So in order to be relevant and in order to actually give you some knowledge, I'm going to drive it from my experiences. So with that out of the way, what I would suggest you is to stay away from single chain pedals and straps. Why? Well, the chain, even though it might not break if it's high quality single chain pedal, is responsible also to keep the board from moving sideways. Because especially with time, and there is no perfect mechanic. So even though it's holding it in place and it's actually not moving too much, over time it will start to swivel, and that's bad because it's not a natural angle for this beater to move, for this board to move. So when there is a double chain, or best case scenario, direct drive, it prevents to a big extent the plate from swiveling left and right. If it's a single chain pedal or a strap, they're a lot more flimsy and the board will be moving a lot more. So you'll be struggling more, your foot will be going in unnatural angles, and eventually you're going to either break the chain, break the board, something's bad's gonna happen. It's not mandatory that it will break, but it's a higher percentage. So I would suggest either go for a double chain drive or direct drive. That's my personal opinion. So we've got the base plate cleared, we've got the drive cleared. Now, what's next is always look for the build quality. It doesn't matter what the brand says, it doesn't matter how cool it looks. Always keep an eye out for the build quality by looking at the motion of the beaters, if there's any squeaking, if there are any rattling noises, and a pretty significant part of the double chain, of the double bass pedal, is it's actually the rod that's connecting the two pedals. So this is the rod. It's kind of rusty and greasy because I have oiled it recently. But basically what it does is it has these rotating heads. I don't know what they're actually called, but they're going in either direction. And it connects the two pedals. So it's very important to look at that, look at the rod, and just check it if it's made out of quality materials, if there is, if it's not too thin, if there are enough of these screws that are holding everything in place, because it is telescopic. Everybody's different. Some people are playing with their feet a lot apart. Some are playing with much closer feet to one another. So they're made out to be adjustable, and but every moving part, as in everything, the more moving parts you have, the more points of failure you've got. So all the moving parts, these heads, these screws, everything that's moving needs to be made of quality materials. There needs to be enough material there to hold it in place so it doesn't bend, it doesn't break. And keep an eye out for the rods. It's very important because I've seen pedals which are good pedals, which are being well taken care of, but just the rod breaks or it twists or something just goes wrong, and this double pedal is rendered absolutely useless. Or you'll have to buy another rod and wait for it to happen again. Now, another thing might be, even though I've never had problems like this, just take a look at the springs, because the springs are what, the springs are what makes the pedal moving and what generates force. So I've heard stories, again, it's never happened to me personally, but I've heard stories that these springs sometimes break, they snap. Me personally, I'm playing with the medium tightness, which is not too tight, not too flimsy, and I've never had problems with that. But especially guys who are playing faster metal, they're tightening their springs way too much because that makes your kicks faster, and they tend to snap the springs a lot more. So if you're such a person, keep that in mind. And so to summarize, when you're buying your next pedal or your first pedal, first, it needs to be with full base plate. It's very important. It needs to be stable. Second, choose your drive. Try them all, go into a music store, try a bunch of pedals, feel them, find what makes you feel better, find what makes you feel good while playing, what feels natural to you. And don't listen to anybody who's telling you that this is old technology or this is inferior, or this is better, whatever. There is no better in terms of drives. It's all about personal preferences. So, base plate, drive, always watch for the build quality of the rod, especially of the rod. It's very important. And that's pretty much it. That's the basics of the pedal. Of course, there's a lot more to it, but maybe I'll cover it in a video further down the line. These tips should be enough for you to make the right decision. And if I have to actually give you any suggestions about a good mid-range to beginner pedals, I would say Mapex products. Not the cheapest ones, but like the mid-range are good. All of the Tama products are perfect. The Speed Cobra, the Iron Cobra, awesome. Even the cheap models like this one is phenomenal build quality. DW, of course, if you've got the budget, you can shoot to the stars. You can go to Axis or DW9000 or Sonar. It really doesn't matter. Just look for the signs of a good pedal. So let me know if these kind of videos are helpful to you guys, if you want me to make more of them about your cymbals, about your heads, pretty much about everything concerning the drum set. And before I press stop, just for you to know, if you'd like to support me, if you want to get further into my community and be able to influence my content, vote on upcoming videos and reactions, give suggestions, speak with me, I can be your mentor, etc., etc. You can do so by checking the links in the description below. You can become my Patreon. I've got different levels. Choose the one that works for your best. And we can start talking today. Also, I've got a pretty cool merch store, which is again linked in the description. You can get a hat, t-shirt, hoodie, beanie, whatever. And if not, please at least consider subscribing, sharing, commenting, liking, not liking, liking, because it all helps the channels, it helps us with the YouTube algorithm, and I will deeply, I got tired. I would deeply appreciate it. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.